If you're scared of driving, this video is for you. So hello, I'm Chris. This is the first video where I'm wearing my glasses, so let me know in the comments if you find it more reassuring with my glasses compared to without them. But we're going to talk about fear of driving in this video and some of the common fears and what you might do about them. So typically there are two kind of root concerns that will stop us from driving. The first is fear. And this is about our safety. This is about us getting hurt. So I worry that I will be in a crash, that I will get hurt, or that I'll have a panic attack while I'm on the motorway, and the feelings will be overwhelming, and I'll really suffer, and I'll really be in pain. And then the second is the kind of cluster around shame. So I'll annoy someone, I'll cause a crash, I'll hurt someone else, and I'll feel this intense shame because something I've done while in control of the vehicle has hurt someone else, and I'll feel awful about that. And so both of these feelings can feel absolutely intolerable, like fear of getting hurt or shame of doing something wrong or hating someone else can feel so overwhelming that it can prevent us from driving at all. So what do we do about this? Well, the first thing I want to say is that these fears are really normal. Lots of people have a fear of driving, and it's not completely unfounded. If you think about it, if you're under 40 and you do die, then probably being in a car accident is probably the most likely. I think that's probably overtakes suicide as the number one cause for how young people die. So it's not like it never happens. And you know, cars are scary. They go very fast. They're very heavy. You can do a lot of damage with a car. So to an extent, this is a normal concern, and that you should be a little worried when you get behind the wheel of a car, because you could do a lot of damage. But when that worry becomes overwhelming and prevents you from driving, then it's a problem. So what can we do about this? Well, typically there are two common thinking traps that kind of cover all of the other thinking traps. And we're talking from a cognitive behavioural perspective about this. There are other forms of psychotherapy, but this advice is very CBT based. And there's typically two ways our thinking goes wrong here. So one is overestimating, and two is catastrophizing. So overestimating, if I get in a car, I'm likely to die. Like, it's the most common way for young people to die, so it's going to happen to me. But that is overestimating, because actually accidents are very infrequent, and serious accidents are even less infrequent. So I've been driving for 20 years. I've occasionally been involved in some very minor collisions, but I've never been hurt. And it's very easy when we see the stats or we hear about a car accident or someone getting hurt to think, oh, that's going to happen to me. But it is actually incredibly unlikely. Very few people die in a car crash because very few young people die. And so even though it is quite a common way for young people to die, it's very uncommon for young people to die at all. And so generally we're overestimating that probability. And then the second is catastrophizing. So if I am in an accident, it's going to be really bad, and I'm going to get really hurt, and the consequences are going to be really bad. But actually, most of the time that isn't true. So most accidents are little shunts when nobody is hurt, and then minor injuries and then major injuries are very rare compared to these little shunts. Normally, it's just a bumper gets damaged. It might cost you a bit in insurance, but the consequences aren't actually that bad. So a great thing in terms of challenging your thoughts is to ask yourself those two situations. One, am I overestimating the probability of this happening? Probably. Two, am I overestimating how serious it would be? Again, probably. So those are good ways to kind of challenge those worries that we might have about getting hurt or hurting someone else. And then it's on to the behavioural components. So that's actually getting in the car and driving. And there's all kind of ways we can break this down. So We could start by just sitting in the car without even turning it on. We could then sit in it and turn it on. We could sit it on, drive it to the end of our street and come back. Or if it's specific situations, like we don't like busy traffic, we could start at a time when there's not much traffic on the road and then build up. Now, you can do all of this yourself with like workbooks and CBT self-help books, but the best way to tackle it is with a therapist, because they'll be able to explain all of this to you. They'll be able to build you a really personalized plan, answer all your questions, and really help you work through it in partnership together. That said, if that's not an option for you, as I say, there are some good books. I also have a self-help course on fear of driving, and I'll link to that in the comments. So if you are interested in doing that, I'll link to that below. But a great starting point is challenging those worries with, am I overestimating the probability? Am I overestimating the severity? And then building up gradually. So doing something that feels just at the edge of your comfort zone and then gradually expanding that comfort zone. Hopefully that was useful. If so, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more videos on mental health, then hit that subscribe button. And I can't wait to see you in another video.